Hi guys, welcome to Wellness Wednesday, our second show doing this. I'm going to go ahead and wait a few seconds before we have a few people. So we have a few people jumping on here. All right. How's everyone doing? Throw me some likes here or comment if you're on. Hi, Laureen. Hi, Joe. Looks like we got some people coming on. We'll wait a few more seconds here. Hi, Joe. It's awesome. So this is our second Wellness Wednesday, or I should say the second time I've done this Wellness Wednesday show here on my personal Facebook page. So as you get to know kind of how I do these, I keep them short and sweet, kind of to the point and more generally speaking, because everybody's body is so unique and different when it comes to each of these topics. But if there's something that you really want to learn more about, definitely throw some topics my way. I'm always looking to answer questions and, hear what you guys are struggling with in terms of health, fitness, wellness, nutrition, and I'll drop some content on it. Hi, Caitlin. Hey, Jeff. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. It looks like we have quite a few people on right now. So welcome. Today is May 17th, and this is my second Wellness Wednesday show. I'm going to come to you guys every Wednesday night at 8:30 Central Standard Time and do this show. I'm going to keep them short and brief, to the point, and hopefully provide you guys with some awesome tips that you can implement right away. So if you have topics or things you've been questioning about, drop them in the comments, ask questions as I do the show, and then I'll come back at the end and answer all your questions. So today I'm talking all about toxic belly fat and really what is it and what can you do about it. So first thing is, what is toxic belly fat when I say that? I like to think of that belly fat that's, behind your abdomen or your abdominal muscles. So behind that abdomen wall, that belly fat that's sometimes kind of hard. It's like right in front here, anywhere in this midsection. That's what we call toxic belly fat. And the reason it's toxic is because your body will actually protect itself from toxins that you take in, whether it's through your skin or the air you breathe, the water you drink. Toxins are everywhere. That's just a part of living life nowadays, especially if you live in like a big city or you don't have the healthiest of lifestyle, or maybe you're an extreme elite athlete and you're outside taking in large amounts of oxygen. You can have toxic overload as well. So what your body does is it will actually build a fat cell around that toxin that it can't eliminate to protect its organs from that toxin. So sometimes when you see that buildup, it's in and around that belly area, and your body actually can't do anything with it until it eliminates the toxins. The cool thing is your body is so awesome. It actually does all of this on its own. So it has natural cleansing abilities. But it's like anytime you overload something, if you never change that fish tank filter in your fish tank, it can't keep up with all the algae and bacteria that's growing into that fish tank. So that can happen sometimes if you don't have a healthy lifestyle, or if you push your health so hard in the other direction too, meaning you're an elite athlete and you're just always pushing your body through the ringer. It can put a lot of stress on the body, and therefore you can end up with some of it too. It tends to be, for people that are a little more fit or even more lean already, it tends to be that last 10 to 15 pounds sometimes. You see it sometimes in men with those that get those harder, more basketball type bellies. That's toxic fat. That's that fat that's in and around the organs. And the reason it's the most dangerous type of fat is just because it's literally sitting in and around your organs. So that's why it's really important to just be aware of it and know that there's awesome things you can do. Like I said, your body's already working really hard to cleanse itself. But sometimes if we're on overload, it's like your body can't come up for air. It can't keep up with all of it. So what can you really do if you feel like you have that, or if you feel like you tend to gain your weight in the belly area? The first thing is just looking at your nutrition. And I know a lot of you probably don't want to hear that, but it's like 80% of the game. So a lot of people, when they want to get back into shape, they'll contact, a personal trainer, or they'll go get a gym membership. And while that's great, and that's definitely a part of it, movement is huge in terms of just that healthy lifestyle, keeping your bones strong, keeping that lean look. We talked about that last week, right? HIIT training. Movement is huge. But if your body's already kind of in a toxic, stressed out state, sometimes exercise can actually add even more stress on top if your nutrition isn't in line. So the first thing to look at is your nutrition. And this is typically the thing people don't want to change. They just want to out-exercise a bad diet, which can't happen, unfortunately, especially as you get older. So the best thing to do is just clean up your nutrition. And when I say clean it up, I mean, eliminating processed food. That's a great place to start, because if you don't know anything about nutrition, you don't even know where to start, it can be kind of overwhelming. There's a lot of, information out there. But the kind of rule of thumb, the best thing you can do is start to eliminate the processed foods. So anything that you have in your pantry or in your house that comes in a package and you can't really read the ingredients and you don't know really where those ingredients come from, it's probably not a good thing to have in your diet. And you guys all know what I'm talking about. There's great healthy alternatives out there to pretty much anything. I mean, you can make homemade pizzas really healthy. There's so many recipes and free information out there for you that you can definitely clean up your nutrition. So that should be the first thing. For most people, it's an 80% nutrition, 20% diet. For me, honestly, it's more like 85 to 90% nutrition. Everybody's body's different, but you got to find what that is. And nutrition is the majority of the reason why our bodies are on toxic overload, because we're taking in processed foods that don't give us any nutritional value. So the first thing you can do is just start by looking through your pantries and tend to grocery shop on the outside of the grocery store, and then look through what you're buying and see, does this come in a box or a bag, and can I read the ingredients on here? If you can't, then it's probably not a food that you want. So that's the first thing. The second thing that you can do is something that I like to call intermittent fasting. It's kind of the word that you hear out there. The program that I coach, we call it Cleanse Days. And what that basically is we coach supported intermittent fasting. So we support the body with vitamins and minerals and things like that. But intermittent fasting is really kind of a buzzword right now in the fitness world too. Similar to what I was talking about last week with HIIT training. You'll hear that word and you don't really know what it is. It's really, to me, just giving your body a break from the daily grind that it goes through of processing all of the food that we put into our body and allowing it to catch up. It's like allowing it to catch up on all the deep cleaning. So when you think about your house, for example, day to day, you're kind of picking up things here and there, right? But every once in a while, you kind of got to go on a Saturday and you got to deep clean. You got to get dirty and you got to get down and you got to clean the toilets and all that kind of stuff. So that's really what intermittent fasting can do for the body. It gives it a rest, and then it allows your kidney and your liver and all the organs that are meant for cleansing to catch up. You'll actually notice your energy levels will go up. You'll see that toxic belly fat go away, because your body actually gets a chance to break down those toxins and get rid of them. I was first exposed to this when I started nutritional cleansing or intermittent fasting, and it was game changer for me. It really was. I used to store a lot of my fat in and around my abdomen. So try it out. Start with periods of maybe holding off from eating until lunchtime. You don't want to do this every day. This is something that you would max do 48 hours, and it's just something to give a shot. See if your body does well with it. You want to drink water. If you want more information on that, you can always reach out to me, and I can tell you about what we use in particular to help you get through those phases. But it's a great tool to use, and there's a lot of information out there on how to do it properly. And you guys, it's natural. It's what we do every night when we go to sleep. If we eat dinner at 6 o'clock and we don't eat breakfast until even 7, that's 13 hours of fasting. So your body is totally used to it, and it allows the body to just kind of catch up. With that said, that's another point. If you're eating really late right before you go to bed, your body doesn't ever get a break. You have to give your digestive system a break. And that's what the periods of intermittent fasting can do. So definitely consider that. So first thing is clean up your nutrition. Look at the processed foods that you're taking in. Your body doesn't need to be eating more chemicals too if it's already breathing it through the air and drinking it through the water and showers and everything that we put on our skin. So really look at the foods that you're putting into your body. Eliminate processed foods. Consider intermittent fasting. You do it all night anyways. Try like period of 12 hours, see how that goes, or I recommend doing a full day. I do 48-hour fasts. And then the last thing that this is so important is stress management. And I know a lot of this stuff you guys have probably heard, but are you actually taking it and putting it into action in your life? Because if you're not, you're just going to keep hearing it, right? So stress management is huge. And I didn't really believe this one. I kind of thought it was woo-woo until I really dove in myself. And some things you can do to manage stress. And let me talk about the reason why stress management is so important. The reason stress management is so important is because your body, literally, if it's under physical or emotional stress, excess stress, meaning periods of life where maybe you've really changed your workouts a lot and your body's under a lot of physical stress, you're going through a lot of soreness, or maybe you're not sleeping well at night, you're not getting that regeneration at night. Your body will start to release more cortisol. And when your cortisol gets out of whack, your body's ability to burn fat is like shut down. And typically where you will store that fat, if it's cortisol related, is in and around your belly. So some tips that I have for where to start with stress management. First thing is meditation. I remember one time my mom and I, we went away to this kind of retreat when I was back in college, and we took a meditation class. That was my first exposure. I didn't get it. It wasn't for me. So I found this app called Headspace. It's awesome. It's your first 10 are free, and you can just keep redoing those first 10, and it's 10 minutes, and they walk you through it. It's so simple. So that's one thing you can do is start meditating. Look into other type of breathing practices, deep breathing. When I say deep breathing, bringing that breath all the way down low into your core, below your belly button, and then exhaling all the way. Taking 10 to 20 deep breaths, just stopping in the middle of your day and doing that, checking in. Yoga's another good stress management. And then really seeking out what some of those emotional stresses are that you have. What is it in your life that's creating that stress? But you have to take ownership and responsibility of figuring that out and checking out books on releasing, letting go, whatever that is for you, and really go there, because some of that stuff is going to hold you back physically, even though it's emotional stress. Like I said, your cortisol gets out of whack, you're done. You can't even, it's not even worth trying because your body's ability to burn fat is shut off. So stress management is such a key part of this. And with all of this said, remember fat loss, it's not about calories in versus calories out. It's like a song and dance. You got to make sure your stress is under control. You got to make sure, you're not dealing with toxicity buildup. You're not dealing with nutrient depletion, meaning you're eating foods that are dense in nutrition. And sometimes there's just not a lot out there. So sometimes you do need to look into supplementation. Actually, I wholeheartedly believe in supplementation, and I used to not to, and that's a whole nother Wellness Wednesday. But, the point is fat loss is really a song and dance. So when it's all said and done, it's not calories in versus calories out. It's figuring out what works best for your body, making sure your stress is under control, making sure that you are getting dense, nutritious food, not processed food, and that, you're dealing with that toxic buildup. And go ahead and start, throwing in some questions if you have them. Hi, Mom. Hi, Steve. Hi, Courtney. Go ahead and drop any questions you guys have. But so the three things that I went over on, how you can easily address toxic belly fat. Yeah, see, my mom remembers that this guy during that meditation class, no joke, the guy literally laying next to me. First of all, for our first meditation class, we were like laying down and we had these warm fuzzy blankets and the lights were low. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall asleep. The guy next to me, big guy, not even kidding. I think he might have been there by himself, totally passes out and is like snoring in the middle of the meditation class. This is my first time ever taking any or even diving into this, right? I mean, I had the hardest time keeping it together. So just remember, meditation is a process and you got to start somewhere. So Headspace is a great app to start with. But just to recap real quick. So the 3 things to easily implement to help eliminate toxic belly fat. The first thing is checking in on your nutrition. Nutrition is always first. It's the biggest part, right? So the first thing is looking in your pantries. What processed foods do you have? Does it come in a box or a bag? Can you read the ingredients? If not, then it's probably not a food you want to be taking into your body. Second thing is looking into intermittent fasting, trying out periods of 12 hours. I like to do periods of 48 hours. You don't want to go past 48 hours. Like I said, we coach a program that uses intermittent fasting, but we support the body with vitamins and minerals during that process. So I really have seen this work for so many people. So look into that. And then the third thing is stress management, because if your cortisol levels are out of whack, which is your stress hormone, your body's ability to burn fat just stops and everything gets out of balance. And it's really about making sure your body's balanced and you're managing that stress. So go ahead and post any questions you guys have, and if you have other topics or things you want me to talk about, let me know. Let's see. Yeah, the snoring. Tom, this should make you feel awesome. You were the one that asked about this too, Tom. Why is it so dangerous? Yes, that's a great question. So the reason belly fat is so dangerous, and specifically that toxic belly fat that's behind your abdomen wall or your abdominal muscles right here, is because it's enrobed itself around a toxin, literally to protect the body from it, because the body can't keep up when you're eating unhealthy and you live in a really toxic dense environment. Your body can't keep up with all of the cleansing that it needs to do, right? So especially with breaking down the food and all those things that it does on a daily basis. So it will enrobe the toxin that it can't break down and eliminate in a fat cell. And then that will hang out in and around your organs. That's why it's so dangerous, because this is like all your organs are right in between the four walls of your core. Not all your organs, but majority of them, and that's where that toxic fat can be, and it can even get up into your chest cavity too. Great question. Are there any others? And if you're just joining on now, I see some people just joining on now, make sure you go back to the beginning, because I'm about to wrap up, and it's some really good content, and this is something people ask me about all the time. Oh, one more thing I wanted to talk about is you cannot spot reduce. So doing crunches is not going to resolve, you should never do crunches in the first place, but crunches are not going to resolve a belly fat problem. You cannot spot reduce, unfortunately. Trust me, I wish you could. I wish you could just take a pill and be like, there goes my belly fat. Don't we all, right? But it's really about the journey and going through all of this, and then it's all a process, guys, and just it's about really creating a healthier lifestyle. And when you start to treat your body better and you go to that level with your health, the fat will come off. It may come off last from the place you want it to come off first. I will tell you that, but you cannot spot reduce. So no crunches, no exercise, nothing is going to get rid of this toxic belly fat except for your nutrition and your stress management. That is what's going to help you eliminate belly fat. So awesome. Hi, Andrea. All right, guys, doesn't look like we have any more questions. If you're just jumping on, like I said, go back to the beginning, because I cover a lot of good content in here about what you can do for that toxic belly fat that we all hate. So I'll see you next week. If you have any topics on what you want me to talk about, drop them in the comments, and I'd be happy to do a show on it. So hope you guys are all having a great night and an awesome week, and I'll see you next week.